We're about to dive deep into one of the most powerful and honestly heartbreaking stories from the ancient epic, the Mahabharata. It's a tale about raw talent, a dedication so fierce it's almost hard to believe, and one single devastating sacrifice that has echoed through the ages. This, right here, is the legend of Eklavya.
You know, this story doesn't kick off in some grand palace or on a chaotic battlefield. No, it starts in the heart of a dense forest, with the quiet whisper of an arrow leaving a bow. A sound that, believe me, would eventually grow into a legend.
Okay, so our story revolves around this young boy named Ekalavya. He's a child of the forest, but he has a dream so huge it was practically destined to smash up against the rigid rules of his world.
So, who exactly was this kid? Well, Ekalavya wasn't a prince born with a silver spoon, destined for a throne. Nope, he was a child of the forest, but he was incredibly disciplined and had this one singular burning desire, to become the world's greatest archer. And in his mind, there was only one person who could possibly teach him, the legendary Dronacharya, the master mentor to all the royal Pandava and Kaurava princes. So, filled with all this hope, Ekalavya makes the long journey to Drona's school. He bows at the guru's feet and makes his simple, heartfelt request. But his dream, it just hits a brick wall instantly. See, Drona is bound by a promise to teach only royalty. So he looks at this eager forest boy, and while he's polite about it, he firmly turns him away. Ekalavya is left completely heartbroken, but as we're about to see, he is far, far from defeated. Now this is where the story gets really interesting. It's all about how Ekalavya reacts to this rejection. This is that moment his story turns from one of just simple ambition to one of absolutely legendary determination. This is where his real journey begins.
Instead of giving up or, getting bitter, Ekalavya does something truly remarkable. He goes back to his forest home, and, with his own hands, he sculpts this beautiful statue of Dronacharya out of clay. The idea was, if he couldn't have the real teacher, he would create a symbol of him, a guru made of earth and devotion to guide his every move.
And his process was so much more than just mindless practice. It was a sacred ritual. Every single morning, he'd bow to his clay guru, focusing his mind and his spirit. Then, day and night, he would train, learning to hear a target in the rustle of leaves, to feel the slightest shift in the wind, to become one with his bow. And this unwavering focus, it forged his talent into undeniable, world-class mastery. So, for years, Ekalavya's secret training goes on like this. He's honing his skills in total isolation, becoming better and better, until one fateful day when his silent world is discovered in the most shocking way you can imagine.
Picture this. Dronacharya and the royal princes are out on a hunt in that very same forest. Their hunting dog runs way ahead of the group and stumbles upon Ekalavya, who's deep in concentration. And the dog, well, it starts barking its head off, completely shattering his focus. And what happens next is just astonishing. In a single, fluid motion, Ekalavya unleashes a volley of arrows. A moment later, the dog runs back to Drona, not bleeding, not harmed in any way, but its mouth is so perfectly filled with arrows that it can't bark anymore. It's a display of speed, precision, and control beyond anything the great teacher had ever seen.
I mean, completely astonished, Drona and the princes follow the dog's tracks and they find Ekalavya. When Drona demands to know who taught him this incredible skill, Ekalavya just bows low and explains everything, gesturing to the clay statue. He says to Drona, "You are my guru." The great teacher is left utterly speechless, floored, and a deep sense of concern starts to wash over him. You see, this discovery puts Drona in an absolutely impossible position. He had made a solemn promise, a vow to the royal prince Arjuna that he would make him the greatest archer in the world. But now, here's this self-taught kid from the forest, completely outside the system, who was, without a doubt, superior.
So Drona makes a difficult, and honestly a devastating decision. He looks at Ekalavya and says, "If I am truly your guru, then you owe me my fee, my guru dakshina." When Ekalavya agrees to give him anything he asks, Drona makes his demand. "I want your right thumb."
To really get the sheer gravity of this, you have to understand what the thumb is to an archer. It's everything. It's the anchor point. It provides the power and the control for every single shot. Asking for an archer's thumb, that's not just asking for a finger.
It's like asking a singer for their voice or a painter for their hands. It's asking him to give up his art, his passion, his entire identity.
The princes are just stunned into silence. Everyone waits, breathless. I mean, how could anyone possibly respond to a request that would completely shatter their very dream they had dedicated their entire life to achieving?
And in what is easily the story's most powerful moment, Ekalavya doesn't argue. He doesn't beg. He doesn't even question it. His devotion to the teacher he chose, even one made of clay, is absolute. Without a single moment of hesitation, he pulls out his knife, cuts off his right thumb, and offers it at Dronacharya's feet.
And just like that, Ekalavya, the master archer, could never again shoot with that same legendary skill. But his story, it doesn't end there. In that moment of ultimate sacrifice, it transforms into something absolutely timeless.
So in the end, Ekalavya's legacy became about so much more than just archery. He stands as this powerful symbol of dedication against all odds, of the incredible power of self-belief, and of a devotion so pure it just seems to defy all logic. His story really forces us to grapple with these difficult questions about duty and fairness and the true price of greatness.
And that, right there, is the question this ancient story leaves us with. It's a question that challenges our very definition of what it means to be a hero. What really is the truer mark of a legend? Achieving perfect skill or making a perfect sacrifice?